they had already like cleared out the land and everything else.
Well, and they're gonna have the runoff go right through it.
Good question, Max.
That is a good
The
question.
single thing I noticed was answered.
Look right to me.
So I don't have
Something's
any-
up.
Check it out.
The only thing I
No.
did have was confirming the widening of the road.
What's first tonight? Our urgent care over here. and-
What the hell are you doing? This machine is going.
Okay, great, Heather. Yeah,
Dan just.
Okay. wait just a moment for Mr. Mistrella.
Turn this off.
He's rub it off on you. We can bring you to the other side and get you some space. What's this I hear about parcel E? And their non-renewal irrevocable letter of credit being revoked. There's an email that I pulled up from a month ago from Chris Martin that says, I'll take care of it. Oh, yeah, thanks. Huh? I thought the email was from like a month ago.
Okay, well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this workshop session of the Town of Henrietta Planning Board on Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. Members present, Matt Borkowski, Patricia Brill, Craig Eckert, Walter Liss, Robert Barley, Marcy Reynolds, Planning Board Attorney Dan Mistrella, and town staff Chris Martin, Director of Engineering and Planning, and Luke Bushin, Deputy Director of Engineering and Planning. We'll begin tonight with the recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll invite the board to stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first order of business this evening will be the minutes, approving the minutes of the September 19th, 2023 meeting.
So moves.
Mr. Barley, thank you. Any comments or concerns? This is okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. And one abstention, Mrs. Brill. Okay, thank you. All right, first item on the agenda this evening is application number 23-014, University of Rochester Urgent Care Facility. This is for final site plan approval of an 8,086 square foot medical office building located at 1300 Jefferson Road in an industrial zone district. This is a kind of reapproval and a modification of an original application number 22-001, which was approved at the February 15th, 2022 Planning Board meeting. Good evening, Matt.
To the board, Matthew Oates with Benderson Development. Material for the building elevation. Okay. On there as well.
Yes, Mr. Barlow.
Plus a couple of the other materials as well. So we are requesting reapproval of a 8,000 square foot medical office building. It's in front of the Residence Inn on Jefferson Road, directly adjacent to the existing Dunkin' Donuts building. It is located right over here in the area where there were previously 3 pods. The board previously approved this as a 7,300 square foot building about 18 months ago. I believe it was February 2022. Since then, we worked with U of R. The building size slightly changed because they wanted to make their space deeper for the urgent care that they're going to be relocating. They're taking about 6,200 square feet of the 8,000 square foot building. So there'll be 1,800 square foot of vacancy left on the inside portion of the building. We do have the special use permit now in hand from the town board The project didn't get built yet just because we were waiting for U of R to move forward with the project. We had to be able to use their name to get the special use permit. So that was the delay in that. We do have the DEC wetlands buffer impact permit. So there's a DEC wetlands there. We're in their buffer. When we had the first project, we went through and got the buffer impact permit. So we have that in place. We have all of the town comments. There were no issues with any of the comments at all. We had previously submitted the floodplain calculations. So we'll have Pine Woods redo the floodplain calculations, resubmit those so Chris can take a look at that. In regards to the 2-foot sanitary sewer stub out that's on the side, we've started doing that now just so we can get access to the main sewer line, jet it out, clean it out, camera it if we need to without actually bringing any equipment into a tenant space. We've just found that to be a little bit neater, cleaner. We think the architecture is really good as well. One, I don't really want to show though, because the one you have on that board is what the colors are. Our overall color plotter for some reason printed this a lot redder than it actually looks. So the one on the materials board is the correct elevation. But we think it's in a very, very attractive building. In regards to Kevin's comment for the need for a variance, I didn't get a chance to talk to him yet. I wanted to speak with him about that. Previously, we were able to receive the approval without the variance. We've maintained the same setback. We hold the plane of the Dunkin' Donuts building. The property line along Jefferson Road changes, which is why the actual setback distance is different. So I just want to have another conversation with Kevin. If he decides he does want us to apply for that variance, we will, but we're not in front of the Dunkin' Donuts building. We still hold that exact same plane. It's just the right of way varies in that area. So I think we do meet that within 200-foot code section to meet it, but it's just have to work it out with Kevin. Besides that, we didn't have any other issues. So happy to answer any questions the board has.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Oh, yes. And the building's 19 feet in height. So just to address the fire marshal's comments, well, we're below that 30-foot threshold then for the 26-foot fire lane that's needed.
Thank you. Okay, we'll open it up this evening. Start with Mr. Eckert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
I reviewed this pretty good. I don't, pretty good depth. I didn't see any other comments. And nothing else came up in the presentation here. I would then suggest that we just condition the approval on any zoning, of course, that might be needed. You know, otherwise, you know, we're certainly not giving any other approval to the setback that's in this board. But it's a nice looking building. I like it. It was already approved. Sad that we're losing those mature trees out front, but they're planting some new ones. It's in a pad that was already designed. So I don't have any other comments to the project itself. There is, I thought I was going to try to grab it or bring it. It's not contingent. Just wanted to add in. I think there's still a punch list item. Okay, well, that's, if that still does exist, which I'm not, I just got to clarify, Matt, we can maybe take care of that in the construction.
Yeah. So if there's a punch list for the Dunkin' Donuts or the hotel or anything on the property,
Yeah.
if you want to just send it to me, I'll literally add like a sheet to the drawing set. We'll include it in our contract and we can get that closed out.
Yeah,
I'd
that
love
sounds
to.
great. Yeah, and you always do.
Yeah,
So
I'd
I
love to
appreciate
close
that. I'm
it out.
not trying to hold that in contingency.
No, understood.
I thought it was the sanitary manhole up front that you're tying into, so it might even be something you're already getting into and adjusting grade to.
It could be. It's a fight on my end as well to
That's
get them closed out and I get yelled at by our finance
Nope,
department.
well,
constantly.
perfect timing. If you're starting this, then we can work on that too.
Yep,
So that'd be
100%,
great.
yes.
That's the only other comment that I kind of had. I
Okay.
just, I'm not even 100% clear if it does exist. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yep,
So
understood.
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Eckert. Chair will recognize Mrs. Brill.
Thank you. I too have nothing. And I did take a note on the possibility of conditional based on the zoning comments. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mrs. Brill. Chair will recognize Mr. Borkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Looks good, Matt. I don't have anything. Thanks.
Okay, very good. Chair will recognize Mr. Barley.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
So when it's approved, when would it be built? When do you think you'll start?
Probably wouldn't start construction until March. The way with the building plans and getting contractors, it's possible we could start late December, early January, which you really couldn't pick a worse time to try to start. So based on weather, I would have to probably say around March 1st. U of R is on us pretty good to get the
Okay.
building up and they really want to get the space. So we're gonna do our best to get it going as quickly as possible. Maybe we get a good winter,
Right.
mid-February.
You did mention that you have the permit for the wetlands and all that.
Correct, yep.
No other questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Barley. Chair will recognize Mr. List.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Do you have a tenant lined up for the
the vacancy that'll be created by when the current urgent care moves to the new
We do not
location?
have a tenant lined up yet, just with not having like an actual like end date of when they'd be left. It makes it hard to lease, but our expectation is we would backfill it
Should be.
pretty quickly. All the space on Jefferson Road seems to go
Okay.
pretty fast.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. List. Chair will recognize Mrs. Reynolds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome.
I don't have any additional questions this time. Thank you.
Very good. Any comments from Mr. Mistrella?
Nothing.
Okay, Mr. Martin? Okay, thank you. A seeker review indicates the action under consideration is an unlisted action as per section 617.7 C1 VIII. The Henrietta Planning Board, as lead agency, has determined that the proposed action described below will not have a significant effect on the environment and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be required. The action under consideration is a site plan application by Benderson Development LLC. It is an unlisted action and will not require a conditioned negative declaration. The purpose of this application is for final site plan approval of an 8,086 square foot medical office building located at 1300 Jefferson Road in an industrial zone district. All relevant areas of environmental concern were identified. Evaluation and examination were carefully made in relation of the existing conditions versus the proposed site improvements. It has been determined that there will be no adverse environmental effect as a result of the proposed action. So I, James Gruner, therefore make the motion that we make a negative declaration and that the chairman be authorized to sign the statement of environmental significance. Do I have a significant second, please?
I'll second that.
Mr. List?
Yeah.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, we have a seeker. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve application 23-014. Contingent on all the necessary variances are issued successfully.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Borkowski.
Second.
Mr. Barley?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Thank you
Congratulations,
very much,
Matt.
everybody.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night.
Hey, moving right along. Next item on the agenda, application number PB 334, Rivers Edge Townhomes. This is for preliminary subdivision approval of a 226 lot subdivision of single-family townhomes located at 85 and 135 Lehigh Station Road in an industrial zoned district with a mixed-use employment center overlay district. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, board. Andrew Burns from Pastor Associates. I believe on the call here is Blago Grevsky representing the home builder, NVR and Ryan Homes. And we are here this evening seeking preliminary overall subdivision approval for the Rivers Edge Townhome project located at 85 and 135 Lehigh Station Road. As the board is aware, we've been in front of you a few times for discussion items since our original application back in May. In response to comments made by the planning board over those few meetings and several meetings held with town staff. We have submitted drawings that include the following revisions. Dedication of all internal roads there to the town, built to town standards, along with concrete sidewalks throughout the development and the addition of crown roads and concrete gutters for stormwater management. And recently added as requested the last meeting is the addition of site lighting at some of the intersections and those parking areas that we discussed. Late last week, we received some town comments from town staff, which we have provided responses to as early as this afternoon. While we take no concerns with any of those comments, we are willing to go over any of those that the board would like. And with that, Blago and myself are here to answer any questions that the board may have.
Well, thank you very much. It is very helpful to get the written response to town staff's comments. So we do appreciate that very much. Okay, well, we'll begin right now. The chair will recognize Mrs. Reynolds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
One question I have is about the wetland delineation. And it looks like it needs to be redone. Because building 55 looks like it could potentially encroach on a wetland area and the walking trail. if it is determined that you can't build right next to it, are you going to just eliminate that building or?
My guess is.
From my drawing that I'm looking at.
Yep.
So,
So I guess to back up a little bit, the wetland was redelineated back in September.
oh, it
And
was.
yes, and it was submitted to the Army Corps, for their review and approval ultimately for that jurisdictional determination. Yes, we know it's close, but with the recent guidelines from the Army Corps, those pocket wetlands will be going away and considered non-jurisdictional. So we are attempting to reserve and preserve that space as best we can. But ultimately, we feel that we will be able to grade into that area a little bit. If we are not, obviously, that building will be moved as needed so that we're not disturbing anything.
Thank you. That's the only question I had, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mrs. Reynolds. Chair will recognize Mr. Liss.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Hey, I was looking at the Monroe County comments, the county planning department, and under number 2, I'm waiting for my screen to pop up here. It addresses the subject of since this is going to be a very dense project, and I'm wondering if you had any it relates to public transportation. The proposed project is a large residential development, potential to generate substantial demand for public transportation. Did you contact RT Rochester Transit, or are you considering any kind of a bus shelter or access to public transit?
Today, it was a very good comment. To date, we have not reached out to them, but we do plan on doing that as a part of this. So I'd say that's ongoing.
Okay, it'd be part of when you come back for the final plan.
Yeah, correct. But that will be addressed by then.
Okay, that's one thing. There was a comment from Chris with a couple of the units using that would have steep backyards. Are there any ones in particular? Are you going to look at putting in like a walkout?
Yeah, the walkout for all the buildings is an option, per building basis, and that is certainly still an option in some areas. I guess that's all I'll say about that at this time. We're working with the home builder. There is the opportunity and ability at every single building to do that walkout.
Okay. And I don't, my plan, let's see, where was it? Under the landscape plan, here it is coming up. I didn't see, maybe under landscaping, I see a lot of the trees in the setup, but are people going to be able to is there going to be landscaping around the back end of the units? I mean, bushes, trees, I see the trees placed.
Yeah, I believe anything kind of under that. Go ahead, Blago.
There will not be, that's going to be an option to every individual homeowner. There's going to be some landscaping in the front of the units, but as far as additional landscaping in the rear, it's going to depend on what type of living scenario they're going to have there, either a patio or some type of deck. So that's up to the homeowner to do.
Okay. And so there is going to be an HOA for this development, is there not?
Right. That's correct.
That is correct.
And what is the name of is there a particular name of the HOA that you're going to use? Is there an independent or
We have not established that, but typically the HOAs follow suit as the same as the community name. Right now, the proposed name for this community is River's Edge. We try to keep it consistent with that, but that's going to be up to the developer to come up with a name.
Okay. I guess I understand that. Okay, that's all I have. So we'll have more details on the HOA at the final site plan approval.
Yeah, so the offering plan will be put together. Once we have approved final plans, we can submit them to the Attorney General's office. They typically want that part of the application process, and the name would be determined at that time.
All right. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Liss. Chair will recognize Mr. Barley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
This project is very dense. For the materials, the walls, will it be any fire resistant or retardant to use to make sure? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So every unit will have firewall separation in the interior of the units and to meet the current New York State building code.
And I was reading, is there any plan of putting sprinklers here at all for the buildings?
No sprinklers.
Had you guys given any thought to that?
We have given it thought before, based on the cost to add the second road exiting on East River Road. That was part of the discussion to accommodate the current code. And based on the economics of the project and where we are today from feedback, it's not something that we're going to be able to afford in this project at this time. But right now, I believe, Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, we do meet the fire code requirements.
Yeah, that's correct with hydrant spacing.
All right, thank you. Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bartley. Chair will recognize Mr. Borkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Well, there's a lot here. So we were given your comprehensive answers to everything, which, as the chairman said, we love these. So thanks, but we got them kind of late. Is there anything on here that you know of as a complete deal breaker with what we're asking you to do?
No, absolutely not. Again, there are a few comments that, us and town staff after the fact want to coordinate and work through, possibly set up a meeting to go over, but
Okay.
again.
Yeah, the ones I've gone through, it seems like they're pretty good. It seems like we have a lot of questions unanswered on sanitary sewer, but it looks like most of them are. But like I said, nothing's a deal breaker on that stuff.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Borkowski. Chair will recognize Mrs. Brill.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments back. That is always so helpful. And anything I had acknowledged and written down from Chris's comments, when I went back to look, I saw they were all answered. So I appreciate that. The one thing that's not jumping out to me, and I know I had it on my original notes, how many units are we talking again?
224.
And I brought this up in the past questioning, because when I think of 224 more additional homes, this is not student housing, correct?
Correct.
This is open to anyone. This is not senior housing, correct?
Correct.
This is open to young families. The schools on that side of town.
I have an answer to that.
Please tell us, because it's a lot.
It is. Every year we meet with the school district and we go over, conceptual projects, whether it's what's concept, what's under design, what's under construction, so that they have a feel for how many potential units they may have. And actually, our meeting is tomorrow at 3:00 with them. So we give them all this information and they input it as their system and, try to figure out how we're gonna get kids, a desk at school. So based on previous conversations, I would think probably in the next 5 years, you'll probably see a new elementary school on that side of the town.
And that's on that property.
It could be.
Forget what it was called.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple potential projects, but the one near Riverton. They have some land there now, but they need some additional land with some of open space. So, we would. I would work out a deal with them, so that they get the acres we need. I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but my opinion, I think they're pretty close to thinking about something more fun or something fun.
And then elementary school kids go to middle school.
Yeah, they do all the shuffling around.
But you go to high school.
It's different when now elementary schools were just K through 6. Now it's K through 3 and then 4, 5, 6, and then some are 7, 8, 9. It's different. Each year we kind of look at all the numbers and, in some sense, we want to have this much children, so the enrollment's going down, but again, with the influx of new people, it raises it back up. So it's a daunting process, but we'll see what happens.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Chris. I have nothing further.
Thank you, Mrs. Brill. The chair will recognize Mr. Eckert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
They've been in front of us a couple times. I believe they've addressed all of our concerns. I don't, in my review, I wasn't able to find any additional questions or comments at this point. So
Thank you, Mr. Eckert.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, Mr. Martin, I've got one comment here. So you indicated in comment number 2, the overall front, side and rear setbacks should be discussed with the planning board. What was your concern there?
I mean, so initially they were gonna propose, private drives, so there wouldn't be any right of way lines. But, and then the buildings would sit in their own little, lot area, like. This is a little different, you did ask them to dedicate the road, which they did. So I think what we want to see at least is, what is the setback going to be from the right of way line to the front of the building? Because sometimes the squares are a little bit different here and there, but I think we want to at least see something minimal. And I don't know, I mean, we did talk about, we wanted enough room to put, a concrete gutter in, a 5-foot sidewalk, but then have enough room to put, just one car in. So that, I believe the one car garages.
Correct, one car garage.
So it would be, one car garage on behind it. That's fine, but I think we were just kind of looking on the final plan, or even on the preliminary plan, we should have that. Whatever, then, sure, you probably have to calculate based on, what we have now. Where the right of way line is and such. But it's something I think that, we need to determine. It's gonna be a little unusual from our traditional subdivisions, which, typically they're 35 feet or 40 feet. Bigger than R115, bigger than R120.
Is that anything we need to add to a condition approval for the preliminary tonight or no? Okay.
You see if the plan board can have a put on it. I mean, again, the buildings themselves have to be 25 feet apart. But since you're a lot line in the interior units. Like I said, the front setback, this is something that I think should be on their plans, and the planning board has any opinion on it, on an input, that's great. But if you want to leave up to us.
So we're basically, so basically we're looking at having enough space for gutters, sidewalk, and still being able to fit another car before the garage.
Right. And that was one thing we talked about,
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Well,
Correct, that's what we're showing right now.
Yeah, so I think it's just a matter of, taking a center line of roads, tracking 25 feet. And then, figuring out, what the rest of the distance is.
And then I guess maybe, I don't know if that's going to be something we'll look at as an average. Because again, these vacillate as it's a curved road. So you'll have a lot of these that probably fit and some of them that don't.
I think we probably look for a minimum, and that is more than that, with a curve or something like that, and that's fine.
And just so I can clarify, we're talking about setback from front of building to edge of right of way.
Correct.
Well, no, to sidewalk. Or you want,
The sidewalks could be within the right of way.
right, but there's still right of way space beyond the sidewalk here because the sidewalk's right behind the gutter. Usually there's a 5-foot grass space and then the 5-foot gutter, which puts the right of way at the back edge of the sidewalk.
Yeah, so this case is different. I mean, it's usually for residential, we want a 60-foot right.
Yeah.
But because everything's so compressed, we went down to 50. But because you still gotta get utilities in there. You still
Right.
got water main, that's gonna go on the back edge of the sidewalk, and sanitary storm, which we like to see in the right of way as well. But, there might be some instances where you have a deed around some easements in.
Correct.
And also keeping in actually this Luke's comment, Rochester Gas and Electric, all the utilities, they typically want a certain amount of pavement in front of the house and there, unless you go to the back. I don't know if you approached RG and talked about that or not.
Yeah, we've talked with RG&E about being in the back,
Okay, so that would take care of that issue.
but you're not wrong. I mean, we still need sanitary water and storm all in the front, so.
Yeah, so I think they can work, as long as the utilities were a big question, so. I guess I'm just looking for, what is the minimum distance gonna be from the right way line to the front of the building?
We can have,
Just make sure that you can be close. If it's a little bit more, that's fine. But it just can't be less than whatever you decide it's gonna be. Then you may have to look at the plans to see how that works out.
And then, so I'm going to reiterate back to my question. If we're only looking at the safety of a car, we're not really looking at it from the right of way. We're just making sure it's off the sidewalk.
Sidewalk, yeah. and I'm
So,
sorry.
right, so we're looking for the space of a car, but from the back of the sidewalk to the front, albeit, you know, your measurement may be from, I don't know if you want the measurement shown from the right of way or from the sidewalk to the front face.
I believe we do clarify we have 22-foot minimum from back of sidewalk everywhere as well.
Okay.
So that is the case on the sidewalk side as well as the non-sidewalk side from the gutter. So 22-foot minimum.
Yeah, right. So either back a gutter or back a sidewalk.
Correct, both 22 feet.
So is that what we're really, is that the concern as far as like plowing and we can scoot through there and not have to?
Yeah, well, you know, that's a good point, but yeah, we do want to make sure that when we do plow, because what's gonna happen on the sidewalk side is, you know, we're gonna plow and it's gonna be on the sidewalk, and our sidewalk plow is gonna go by.
Oh, they won't wing this? They'll wing this, won't they? Because it's right on the,
Right.
yeah, there's no other reason for a sidewalk plow to come out to the side yet, which is again, I think the other benefit of having the sidewalk right behind the gutter, because we can hit it with the road plow, which means it'll get done a little more often.
Right way. Not safety issues with this one.
It'll be on the backside, yeah.
So again.
So that- It's a snow and ice concern, so that's a clearance issue, but right, if it's from, that's because that's what I was looking at too, but I saw enough distance behind the back edge of the sidewalk, but I'm not trying to get you confused, or I'm not trying to contradict you. I didn't know if you were looking for a number from the right of way to the building or the safety from the sidewalk to the building.
I meant from the right away.
So you want that space?
I want to know what that space is.
Yeah, okay.
Front end of the building.
Yeah, I
not
just
the
want
sidewalk.
numbers so we can be.
From the right of way to the front end of the building is what Chris is looking for. I was only looking at it from a sidewalk to front of building.
Hey, is there a concern with cars parking in the right of way? Or,
Well, by law in the winter, you're not allowed to park in the right of way. Now, that's described now only because you don't want cars parking in the road or on the sidewalk while we're trying to perform snow and ice. In this particular situation, there wouldn't be, I mean, the ticketable offense wouldn't be valid because it's on the driveway and off the sidewalk.
Back another way.
Let's look at the numbers.
Yep.
I would say, I think where the buildings are probably okay, we just need some. type of number.
Yeah. Okay. So again, you're just looking for what the number is. You're not looking for them to push them out further.
No.
The safety is there. You're just looking for the number to.
And we can get that with final, or they can coordinate that with you folks.
And again, I talked to Andy before the meeting, the one thing that we want to see before final drawings are submitted is to see these plans revised and in pretty good shape. We don't want to go through updating the preliminaries and you come in with section one and then we're revising both of them.
Okay,
So we do want to fairly good set, don't have to be perfect, but something that's pretty good fitting, so that when we're reviewing section two, I'm sorry, section one, final, that they correspond pretty close to preliminary, the final. Preliminary one.
okay, very good.
Mr. Chairman, did anybody else have any comments on the sidewalk or the vehicles? I just didn't know if, I mean, I spoke, I just didn't know if anybody else.
I like what Chris said, it's important to have the room for the, one full vehicle in the driveway and then,
Absolutely.
so it doesn't back out over the sidewalk. It sounds like the 22 feet, that number would take care of that right now anyway, but
I think so.
Yeah.
Cars parking in the right way, that's not a big deal. We do that now.
Yep.
And there's these parking spaces too that are technically also in the right of way.
Well, and that was the other comment that I have, is that we want to make sure that the concrete gutter is continuous, goes through those parking spaces. But the parking spaces themselves can start right after the concrete gutter. It's a good, carries some drainage, which is important, and it's a good, boundary that we know that we take care of everything. The concrete gutter to the road, anything from the, edge of the gutter, parking spaces would be the HOA responsibility.
yep, we can absolutely make that revision.
And then, I have one more comment if everybody's else is finished.
sure, Ms. Martin.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about the road coming in from Lehigh Station Road. So there's basically three types of road. There's the road coming in.
Blue one.
From, there's gonna be more industrial type. From east of the road rather to into the site. And, I know we talked about the width. My only concern is, and this is maybe more of a fire marshal issue. Is if it's 22 feet, with no shoulders, that's not a lot of room, especially if the ditch is right there. So I think we really want to make it wider than that, maybe 26 feet. But I'd like to run that by the fire marshal as well. But as far as road, the other roads, the internal roads, I don't have any issues with those at all. Those what we talked about. I think one is 20 feet wide and the other one is 22, which is more than black. But the road, from east of the road to project, that's something that we really need to take out of the look at.
And didn't they answer in the comments that they are okay with the 26 feet?
I thought there was a negative.
Yeah, I believe we just stated that the road, what we're showing was previously discussed with town staff, and the 26 feet is a new comment.
It isn't.
So,
And that's something that if you look at, and I haven't had a chance to discuss with the fire marshal yet. But. So I think it's something that we can work out.
Yep.
And especially, I think there's a good possibility that the developer is going to do some of the work on the road and the town will do some. Feeding work on it, so it might be something that we can work out, at least, but we just need wider shoulders if we're not gonna have. So that's a comment that's still outstanding that we'll have to work out amongst.
Can you advise what you mean by industrial type road?
Sure, so that road off of east of the road is gonna serve dual purpose. The main one is gonna be a secondary end. So based on building code, and I'm not sure if that would be exact number right, but at least if you go over 30 lots, you need a secondary means of egress. But also that lot to the north, to the west of the site, is an industrial lot. So what we're trying to also do is take some heat off of the intersection of East River Road and United States Road. And this could provide a means for that. But eventually what we'd like to do is connect this road up here on the United States Road, possibly opposite John Street. Now, this would be maybe a bit line of gets developed. But again, that would be a more straight thoroughfare to get something off of it. So, when we look at these projects overall, we look at all the ways that, try to plan for the future, so you can, protect all other situations like that. Does that make sense, Patty? Kind of talk around.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, board members, on this application?
Sure. Have you guys given any thought to kind of cutting down the density of this project?
yes, we have from the beginning. We've already cut back, 12 or 16 units. To
How
get,
many, 16 did you say?
yeah, 12 or 16. I forget where we initially started.
Uh-huh.
And that came with the request of the town board to, to receive that special use permit.
Uh-huh.
And I believe this is, kind of the minimum number we need to carry for a successful project.
That was
So-
my next question.
Yeah.
So you think 260 is the number for minimum?
Excuse me?
You say 260 is the minimum that you can?
224. And again, this will be in 3 phases. That first phase is right around 70 units.
Okay.
And I do have the figure here as well. Proposed phase, this is, again, this is the overall north it's going in now. This industrial, that kind of future industrial area. But that first phase is going to be kind of this northeast, northwest lane. 70 units here.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Thanks for answering that.
Then, I'm sorry, that brings up another quick comment, may I, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr.
The
Becker.
secondary access is at what level?
Actually, I can't remember if they were on these plans or not, but I think in section 1, you have a escape route that goes to, United States Road.
Yeah, that's something we're gonna want to, we need to coordinate with the fire marshal to see if he finds it acceptable, but I believe it's acceptable. I believe it's 30 or 35 units would
Yeah, I
trigger.
forget what the number is, but you'll need a secondary access from
Nope,
that point.
and we're
Yeah.
aware of that, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Anything else, fellow members? Okay. Mr. Mostrella? Any comments? Okay, thank you. Mr. Martin, all set? Okay, thank you. The chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve the preliminary subdivision approval of application number PB 334 River Judge Townhomes.
Thank you,
Provided they come back with.
Thank you, Mr. Liss. Can I have a sufficient second, please?
Second.
Mrs. Reynolds, thank you. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
2, okay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was it, Mr. Martin. Anything for next week or next month, I mean? Yes,
There's one everybody day or evening, we have 3 solar array projects in November.
To bring your day, nice use of words.
You know, that's kind of nice. So,
Will the sun be out then?
I think it's we use this, but 2 are kind of close together, so 2 are south of the Greenway on Post House Plan. So if you remember our Lehigh Ridge subdivision. On the other side of the south side of the Greenway for that. Then kind of 2 projects, and then Tobin Road is the other one.
What road?
A lot of stability.
Tobin.
Tobin Road off of Reeves. So it's on the east side of town.
is that Marcy? Is that your backyard?
Across the street.
No, Tobin's,
Across from what?
oh, Tobin.
Tobin.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Tobin.
Gotcha.
I was thinking Telephone Road, Tobin.
Reeves is just
Tobin
off the
Road.
thruway on the
Silver
east side.
Road.
That's right.
Branches off the Tobin.
Yep.
Where on Tobin?
Second house in on the right if you're going eastbound.
I'm sorry, Greg.
Second house on the right if you're going east. If you're going east on Reeves and turn on Tobin, it's like the second, maybe third house on the right.
Yeah, it's kind of really far from the back, I mean, it's. You never know what's there, but they have to go through a special use permit process, which there's go through a next town board meeting. So we're not gonna take any action, but they wanted to get it before the board, present it. Just so, you know. See what, you know, what the project's all about.
Good.
We haven't done too many solar, this would be our second, third, and fourth projects.
Yeah, we did Remelt and then, yep. Okay,
These ones, they didn't have to go through before.
How many acres is that typically?
Yeah.
Something like that?
25 acres.
Well, yeah, the Tobin piece I thought was only like 12.
Yeah, the total one's a little bit smaller, so the one with the hollow one is bigger, that's why they didn't do it kind of phases or sections. So
Yeah, it must be 30, 40 acres on that piece.
yeah.
Where that one is?
Tobin?
No, Lehigh. Outlet.
Oh, just south of the Lehigh Ridge project, other side of the thruway.
Authors Ave and Evans. You know where that complex is on the other side of the thruway from that complex back there.
Other side of the golf course.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Everybody look at the north side.
Yep, okay, gotcha. So that's kind of sort of near my house.
Yeah, so I kind of talked to Andy, we'll see if we do it about that. But they had to go
Interesting to see
through
what-
very rigorous process. to plant the house.
Gosh, what,
there.
didn't somebody
I think
come
somebody
forward
just built-
wanting to make that?
they just built a house there.
Cross,
We had talked about it,
They
so
bought some of the land from the house on the corner of Tobin and Reeves. She had like 35 acres there.
The Willards farm, all that property.
Yeah. That's farmland now,
Yeah.
on both sides of Tobin right there.
Yeah, it's this piece right here, Patty. This is part of the old belfry here. And I think it spans over to here too, Chris, but this is not going to be solar.
Yeah, so they would, as part of the incentive.
Church.
They're looking at-
Church. It's on Pinnacle there.
Mhm. On the corner there,
Adonai, no, not the Baptist church.
So can you identify,
the
The one
one further down.
backs up.
south.
Right next to the Masons.
no, yeah, the
The
Masons.
Masons
there.
is right there, yeah.
And then, so
They've
there's
cleared
a snowmobile trail
that way.
that goes
They
right,
mow it on a regular
um,
basis.
right there, exactly where you are. It
Yep.
goes across and there's a creek right there and there's a bridge. And it
Across.
goes across and it
House.
continues and then goes under the freeway.
Yep, right here.
Dumping
I just wanted to bring
debris
that
in
up.
the
Yep.
yard.
Yeah, that will probably still remain.
My parcel.
None of that.
Oh,
is,
really?
At least you can see where the dirt trails are.
I went
But
back,
the,
I put some more
in fact, we're
signs,
getting,
you know,
and part of that too, we'll get a
signs.
road. We've already talked about that with the Masons, is getting an access road down on the southern piece
So
here
three guys,
to a parking lot.
two guys put
Uh,
stuff in the
The,
tractor.
I think the creek crossing is us though.
I think so, yeah, it's something. we
Nice.
have to work
Use the
out.
pasture
These
as
are
a
still-
Oh, no kidding.
We just got to get over Red Creek to a parking
Stuff there.
space here, which will have another trailhead access.
Yeah, but it's just
Then Craig, if you want to go to Bolton Road,
the
you can do
concrete
that one.
stuff that you see.
Tobin's got a lot of problems because, well, not that this one doesn't too. I mean, if you remember,
Really?
solar is supposed to go in active farms.
Mhm.
And neither one of these are. Now Bruce has
Very nice
much
guy.
more of an
Pastor
ability
Willie.
to
Mm,
preserve
okay.
other active farms. Basically has other farms. Tobin Road does not.
Very nice guy. Because they have a lot of equipment.
Because they don't want to
Mhm.
have-
They ask him about, you know,
I have to work it myself, or-
for bush hog. So I
Mhm.
want to start. I don't want to do a whole city clearing,
Has the Ramel solar
cutting some
proven beneficial?
brush down,
Anybody
Mhm.
have any
Yes.
feedback on it?
getting some
I
trails.
think it's this, is this the,
So I can take little hay rides with my grandchildren.
Somewhere in that, you know, it's not far,
I
but-
know. Like
this could be an older picture.
he said. "Oh,
So Pinnacle,
Willing to help me out.
Hmm.
It's equipped.
the church on the corner.
Said you've done a great job.
Yeah, that's, the
cleaning.
the church is up here. Yeah.
Do you have any
Oh,
plans?
I want to say it's maybe like right here.
So Somebody asked, those two, Craig. and
Yeah.
Chris, Cause he said he's had a
What?
meeting.
Up?
About,
Concept plan.
That's the active farm, right?
on that 8 acres?
His-
On his acres, oh, okay.
See, cause his,
I don't know if it's-
this is pretty much a rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
Mine goes off.
Mhm.
Reeves from 95, it goes off.
Mm-hmm.
That's, yeah.
It's kind of,
Not where the field is, but over.
kind of rectangle.
But you're right. I didn't think it was
Stone
actively
wall.
farmed and that's showing something being.
Borders.
Yeah, I haven't been back in.
That's
there.
right, and it's- Then the access to that age
So we'll figure it out, but
is the 50.
Very good.
what else do we have?
Mhm.
Don't we have a
Mhm.
discussion item coming in for Menotti that's not on?
That would be
Yes.
the access to the
Right.
back.
So it's a discussion item, actually, it's gonna be a time board item for 811 Jefferson Road.
So we have, the developer has a final build out for what's gonna complete Menotti Crossing.
Okay.
So it's kind of neat. So it's some good, Ken, I don't think, yeah, I don't think we're allowed to talk about what it is yet.
Nice.
A
That's a rest-
restaurant other than,
Yes.
Well, there's the piece going next to Hobby Lobby, the big
Mm.
building, which is gonna be
Mhm.
approximately about 60,000 square feet.
They own
And then
one,
there's
they-
a couple of restaurants
Mm.
going in the other parcel.
for that.
Mhm.
are they gonna be changed? Are they gonna be
Mm,
New
okay.
chains,
Mexican?
there's, well, we heard Jersey, yeah. Heard Jersey Mike's, Dave's Barbecue,
I think somebody- I think-
Jersey Mike's, Dave's, and then
Another guy
Zuru,
we talked to, I
Zura.
think he's living in one of those campers.
It's so funny, every time we watch
Seen those
sports, and they
campers?
post Jersey Mike's,
They do.
like, where is one around here?
Where are they gonna
In
get?
Pittsburgh, I think somewhere.
Yeah, we looked it up.
There's a Jersey
Forgot.
Mike's on West Henrietta Road, right?
That's Firehouse.
Is that Firehouse?
Firehouse down across Town Line Road there.
So where's Jersey Mike's? Across from the old Tops?
There, as far as I know, there isn't one in
Chicken
Henrietta.
I don't think there's,
Nah, there's something else. Maybe there's no sub shop there then.
okay, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Barley, 7:50 or 6:49. Thank you.